Welcome to another stock market update. The stock market continued with its weekly pattern, making new high during the week and pull back to close out the week. Speculation fever continues to appear. This week we saw Virgin Galactic shot up like a rocket, and Tesla appeared to be getting ready for another rocket launch. Will these rocket ships be able to shoot for the moon, or will they run out of fuel? In this week's stock market update, we will review the stock market to see if it is getting ready for another shot at a new all-time high next week. Then we will look at Virgin Galactica and Tesla to see are they getting ready to launch again or are they coming back down to Earth. Before we start, I'd like to ask you to click the thumbs up to help me smash the YouTube algorithm and click the subscribe button to subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. And if you have any comment, questions, or suggestions for future videos, post them in the comment section below and I will answer them as soon as possible. Looking at this index chart here, you can see that the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, and the NASDAQ Composite close out with a new all-time high on Wednesday, but the industrial, the Dow Jones Industrial, the Dow Jones Transportation, the New York Composite, and the Russell 2000 did not participate in making a new all-time closing high. And looking at the sentiment chart here, we see the put-call ratio climbed up to 0.88, and that is the highest level since the January 31st high here. So is the VIX is climbed up to 17.08, and it too is also the highest level since the end of January. So definitely the sentiment is being whisked off for now. And here looking at the cumulative advanced decline line on the New York Stock Exchange versus the S&P 500, you can see on Thursday when the S&P 500 actually closed down, the AD actually went up to a new high. So that's a little bit of a positive divergence and a clue that we might see the S&P 500 make another all-time high. And the new high, new low on the New York Stock Exchange continue to show a little sign of weakness. It's only have 87 more new high than new low on Friday, while the S&P 500 closed lower. Looking at the NASDAQ 100, the NASDAQ 100 also have a higher advanced decline on Thursday as the index closed down. So it's showing this similar type of behavior as the S&P 500. And again, the new high, new low is also not as strong as the market pullback. You can see that the weakness is also coming in internally. It's only got 60 more new high than new low. Here we are looking at the S&P 500 monthly chart. So far, the monthly candle is looking pretty bullish, although it did went above the this trend line here and got close to the 3,400 level. It got as high as 33.93.52, and the 2x of this move here, this swing here, is 33.94.69. So it got pretty close to that level, but it still did not make it to that 3,400. And I do anticipate that it do a little bit of a pullback in the coming week. But if we see a strong pullback, then we probably see it come back down to the 618, which is somewhere around the 3,000 area for the S&P. So that could be one of the levels to keep an eye on if we see a little bit more substantial pullback than just a little dip. And here on the daily, you can see that this gap got filled, and it got filled with a pretty good, sort of like a doji spinning top candle, long-legged candle, and got a nice bounce. But on Friday, it kind of gave it back up and actually closed near this 1618 at 3340 area. So we'll see would it be able to get a bounce off of that or continue to come down and test this trend line, which I also have a Fibonacci retracement on this swing here, and that would bring it back down to somewhere around this 3325 or 3304, which is, that's 3300 at the 50% retracement level. So keep an eye on this retracement zone for the coming week. And here looking at the ES, the E-mini S&P 500 future, note this overnight all-time high that is printed on February the 19th, 33.9750. It has not been tagged by any regular trading hour session yet. So we expect to see that sometime in the future, some future RTH session will come up and tag this all-time high. And that's another clue to indicate that the S&P 500 could see another all-time high. And here's the dollar index. Remember last week we were talking about coming up and try to tag this 100 level, and it got close to it. Now it looked like we might see a little bit of a pullback because this candle here is seems like it found some seller up here, and it could come back down and retest this level here somewhere around the 98.25 area. But if it's continuing to move up, we'd still be looking at this century mark and then targeting this upper trend line here on this channel. And here on the crude oil is still within this zone here, this zone that we are looking at. And basically it was a right out on a look below and fail. And basically looking at this possibility of coming up to $60 area. So until it reverses and break back below this zone, then we will continue to watch oil to make its move toward this 60 area. And finally, looking at gold, remember gold, we were talking about the bullish move and looking at this 127 extension, this 1647. It actually got above that and it closed just slightly below it at 1646 and 10 cents. So the next level we'll be watching will be this 141 and this 78.6, somewhere between 1679, 1680 to 1690 area. So those are the levels to keep an eye on. And that's the stock market update for this week. Don't forget to click the thumbs up if you like the content in this video and subscribe. Now let's take a look at Virgin Galactic. That's one of the stocks that been moving last week. And you can see this weekly candle here right up here caught a lot of the leg chaser, the FOMO. So there's a lot of trap long up here. And if we take a look at the price here, let me put the high on there. From the close from the prior week, and last week it actually moved up 48%, a little bit more than 48%. And if those unfortunate FOMO bought near the top, they'd be basically holding the bag on Friday at the close, losing a little bit over 20%. So this is one ugly weekly candle. And looking at the daily chart here, we can see that there is an inside candle on Friday. If it breaks below this low here, then we're essentially looking at this price zone to see would it be able to get a bounce off of the 29.50, 28.23 area. If it come down, see will we get a break and get a bounce. And if it doesn't get a bounce, then we essentially be looking for this thing to come down into this retracement zone, and possibly get down to this 2469, which is the 50% retracement. And that is using this particular swing and put in a Fibonacci retracement to get in that retracement zone. And here looking at the hourly chart, I want to show you this potential head and shoulder pattern that it could be forming. So this is the left shoulder, and this could be the head, and this could be the right shoulder if it come down here and break, because now this price zone will essentially act like a neckline for that head and shoulder pattern. And it could come down here to this 50% and then get a bounce back up, then it come back down and continue to break that pattern. So it could make a little bit of a shake and bake move to kind of fake these people, try to catch the short on the break of the head and shoulder pattern. Now, don't forget there is earning report coming out on Tuesday after the close. Virgin Galactic will be reporting earning, and the market, as of Friday's close, it is pricing in a plus or minus $9.20 move, and that is a 27%, plus or minus 27%. And based on Friday's close, that will be in the range of 24.67 on the low side and 43.07 on the high side. So that 24.67 is pretty much in line with its 50% Fibonacci retracement. Oops, this right here this 50% retracement level here at 24.69. So keep an eye on these price level here down at this retracement zone. That these price level could be in play if a negative earning report comes out after Tuesday's close. Here we're looking at the Tesla weekly chart, and you can see Tesla got a nice bounce off of the prior week doji type of candle here, and it seemed like it wanted to get into this $1,000 mark, and so we'll probably keep an eye on that next week to see would it be able to take out this high and then get up to that 1,000 level. On the daily chart, remember we talked about these gap here in the previous video, and we're saying that we'd be watching for these gap to get filled. And last week, this one got filled, got a nice bounce off of the gap fill. And right now, it seems like it is hovering, staying up above it, and see would it be able to make its move back above the 944.78. If it could get above the 944.78, I'd be watching this high, and that high is get taken out, then there's a good probability that $1,000 level will get tagged. But if it doesn't get above that, 944.78 or this 968.99, then I'd be watching the possibility of coming back down and fill this gap and then into this zone here, and possibly come back down to this 754 level here and see would it get some support. Because if it come down and fill this gap, and just like here that got a nice bounce, then we would expect it to get a bounce back up. But if it doesn't get a bounce, then I'd be looking for the price to come down to this, this high volume area and maybe chop around and try to consolidate before it decide which way to go. Go back up or come back, go further down and try to fill this gap here. And looking at the hourly, I just want to show you that there could be a trend line here that might provide some support if the price come back down and break below this 859.94. So this trend line could provide some support. If it doesn't, get a bounce off of this trend line, then we see that this gap is just right under it. If it break the trend line, then we're basically looking at this gap to get filled, then come into this zone here to see would it be able to consolidate if it doesn't get a bounce off of that gap fill. So in the coming week, I'll be watching to see if the stock market will repeat the pattern it's been in for the last 3 weeks. Making new all-time high during the week and then pull back and close out the week. Or will it break the pattern and surprise those unprepared with a sharper pullback and shake them out a little bit more? And with Virgin Galactic, will it shoot for the moon or will it fall back to Earth after we report its earnings on Tuesday? So the market is pricing in a $9.20 or plus or minus 27% move. And will Tesla be able to hit that 1,000 mark next week? Let me know what you think. Do you think Virgin Galactic will go up and Tesla will hit that 1,000 mark? Post your thought on these stocks in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe. So thank you for watching and good luck on your trading.